This is the first time for both of us to do this. So we're
Mm.
feeling a bit like, there's a few like butterflies, but I think it's gonna go really well. Uh
Okay, okay, cool, cool.
we're cool and collected. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I want to introduce my guest today, Alex Mkwizu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Alex Mkwizu is a co-founder of a augmented reality and virtual reality company based in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. I actually met him when I was in Dar es Salaam, maybe 3, 4 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
spent 5 weeks in Tanzania, right? And can you tell the audience like how I met you actually, like where and how it happened?
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, we met at Smart Lab during the Founders to Founders meetup, and I was there listening to their latest launcher for their learning platform and the different case studies around how to facilitate students to learn skills that can make them competitive into today's job market. And
Yeah.
the last session was around networking, and there's where I met AIM.
Yeah, that's how it happened. And so I was doing a panel that day, and it was about the future of work, and how to prepare for it when it comes to your skill set and education and all these things. And the room was filled with people that were either, entrepreneurs or they worked there at Smart Lab, or they were students in the sphere that was connected to the tech industry. And Alex was in the room, and I remember his eyes during the panel and how attentive he was as we were presenting. Like he was really, really listening, and he had like a set of good questions to ask as well closer to the end. And so we ended up having a conversation. And so I'm glad that encounter happened because I got to
Mhm.
meet him and learn more about this super cool company that he built called Seed. And I want to introduce it quickly, and then once we actually dive in, you can tell them more details about what you do.
Okay, cool.
Seed is it's a design studio, and they leverage augmented reality or AR and VR or virtual reality to create immersive experiences that impact society. And it was built by a group of visionary tech entrepreneurs such as him
Mhm.
that basically want to impact experiences in Africa and also in other continents as well as it expands. So, Alex, I'm really curious. Tell me about how you grew up, and you can start from any angle you prefer.
Okay, that is a very, very an amazing question, but I'm trying to figure out where to start. So basically, I will just give snapshots.
Yeah.
I grew up in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam mainly, Tabata. That is
Yeah.
where I grew up. And basically, my father is an electric technician, and my mother is a teacher. And it was a very strict family, I would say, given that we were forced to be very, very keen in our education, but also being able to think, I would say, outside the box. And the fact that we saw our parents working hard, and they usually tell us that shouldn't be like us, should be more. And that is what pushed me to seek on ways to understand myself, but the world at large. And so that led me to like look for areas. I didn't have people like to mentor me at that point of time. So I resorted to go to books and read different kind of books and see what is the way I can actually create something that people would need and generate cash ideally. The key thing at that moment of time was generating cash. And so I started working when I finished my Form 4. And that was a compulsory because my father told me it's either you go with me to the sites or you should work with me or you should look for work. Yeah. And so I worked as a tutorial assistant at one of our tuition centers, Ali Abdallah. And there is where I started like my entrepreneurial endeavors. I worked, I got paid, and that was it basically. So the key thing here was just being pushed by the family. Like, you should go out there and look for something that is worth it and put all your energy into it. And we want to see you like have something valuable that people can come and buy or make impact in the society. So that's why I would put it just a back shot.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And Form 4, just for the audience, is what would be the equivalent actually? Would it be like the end of high school? Or like
No. Okay, so we have primary school, which is 7 years, and
mm,
then we have secondary school. There's ordinary and there's advanced level. So
mm.
ordinary level, that is when I finish your Form 4, and after there you get to the advanced level, which is 2 years. So basically, it
Um,
was those 4 years after finishing primary school.
and so then and then after that it's like university, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, okay, that's cool. And so you said that your dad, I mean, your family was the first kind of like group of people that told you, in a way, shaped you and to tell you you can be more, you can become more. And your dad was also encouraging you to go out there and find work and, either find a job or go and work with them in some ways or another, and then you started kind of like building your own entrepreneurial journey, just at a smaller scale in the beginning, which is and then I'm also thinking about how you became the person you are through learning outside of school, right? And so what are ways that you continue to learn as an individual? And you can bring up like anything, whether it's like YouTube videos, podcasts, books. Is it specific training that you got that really enabled you to like learn a lot in terms of mindset and also skill sets?
Okay. The one thing that I used to learn is I think I would give a very huge percentage to my curiosity and understanding that I would say a little bit privileged, but also not privileged enough to have mentors around and to show me the path that I have to take. So realizing that my curiosity is usually talking to people. I think that is the most impactful way to learn out of stuff. So I'm usually curious to understand what people are doing or how someone was able to reach there. Or if I see something, how does that actually work, right? So curiosity is one key thing. And I usually like to talk to people very much more than reading books. And if it's books, then it's biography books or entrepreneurship books. And because I believe a personal story tells much more than books written around, let's say, theories or research. So that is the way that I usually learn. But for me, the key thing is people. So I really like to talk to people and understand how they have been able to reach there. Because personal experiences connect more, and you feel like you're not alone, and you might find that you have a lot of things in common. So that is a key thing. So I usually like to go to conferences. I usually go like to have meetups because in these areas I meet people, I talk to them, I build my network, but also I learn a lot of stuff. But apart from that, I usually love reading books and articles around either research because I find people who do research, there are a lot of things that people find and very many people don't know. And I have passion around data. And so when you get to read these research articles, let's say HBR, Harvard Business Review, and you get a lot of these concepts, and now you contextualize it within your environment and okay, how do I translate this into my environment? Can I create something out of it? How can I improve my life? So basically, the curiosity part, like how do I make myself better? How did that person reach there? How is this thing working? That is the way I usually learn. If I wasn't curious, I don't think if I'll be here at all. So it's curiosity, learning around people, how things work, and what have people written about these kind of things and what can I get from there and contextualize it within my environment because someone's biography or experience is different from yours. So the key thing is after learning that, how do I take that and contextualize it for my well-being and what I'm working on people who are around me. So
Yeah, brilliant. And I could totally like connect to that because I'm basically the same person. Like you, it feels like you're describing me. And I never thought about putting it into words of like curiosity necessarily, but I'd say that it's definitely a curious mind to go out there and talk to people, go to conferences, learn, ask questions to, you know, people around you that you meet that you find are incredible, have done really good things that you admire. Um, and also I'd say sometimes I find sometimes I do workshops here in Canada, and some of the questions I get are have to do with like, how do you do that? Like, how do you actually go out and talk to people? Like, how, like,
Mhm.
are you not shy, right, to ask questions? But that's the thing, you have to also get over your own comfort zone and be like comfortable going out there asking even people that you find a bit intimidating in quotes. They're actually more relatable than you think. They're Yeah, and that's the thing. And I started learning it like maybe 5 6 years ago when I would reach out to people on LinkedIn, and then like they would respond, like people I admired that later became mentors or that are doing amazing things in the world. And like most people are nice and they want to give back and they want to share. And so if you're someone that's listening that like wants to learn something specific from someone, reach out to them and send them a LinkedIn message, and you'll see they'll probably
Mhm.
respond to you. Do you agree with that?
Yes, yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah,
So, just to add on that,
yeah.
um, all of us were scared at a certain moment of time we were shy. However, I will say on my end, I like that adrenaline rush. That okay, I am shy, but I want to do this, right? And that has made me to push beyond what I think or what I can do. And so sometimes I would call it like moving beyond your comfort zone. You're shy, but you give it a shot. I want to see how this goes through it, yeah, or I want to see how this goes. And when I reach to people the first time, you might stutter, all right, but at the end of the day, when you start talking to someone, you find that it translates to something which is normal and just something which, okay, so I could talk to this person. And that is amazing. So that comes into your mind. And the next time you do it again, you do it again, it becomes a habit. However, I'm not saying that it just started from nowhere. There's a woman that was shy, couldn't like reach out to a person, but I just made that first step. So I think the key thing is making that first step and say, I will learn. You might feel shy, you might feel embarrassed, so that's it. Just making the first step. That's what I would say.
Yes, I totally agree. And that's the thing. It's like once you get, outside of yourself and you're like, okay, I gotta do it, and you like count to five and you take action, then I think you'll be surprised to know what your capacity is and like how much you can actually do. Because sometimes I think we limit ourselves in our minds as to what we can and cannot do. And so just like taking action, even with the fear, right? Like the book, Fear But Do It Anyway. There's a book written
Mm,
about that.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. I might share with you later just so that you can get
Nice, 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 nice.
as a reference. Yeah, so let's move to your company actually, because we're really curious to learn more about Seed, which is the studio that you're building at the moment. Tell us about what your company does and to start, and then I can ask you a few other questions.
Okay, so what our company does right now is focused on immersive experiences, and immersive experiences leverage technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence. So we are designing products with intersection of those three, and that's basically it. So basically, you deal with virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence. Behind that, there is gaming concepts, designing games on VR or simulations on VR. So being intersected with artificial intelligence. Let's say you have a product now you want to add a context of either generative AI when people are interacting within the game or simulation or NPCs. These are like characters that can communicate to you with base of a knowledge that has been presented within the structure of the environment. So basically, yeah, so that is what we actually do. And the key thing that we see here is the potential on revolutionizing one one key aspect, which is training. And training in context of we usually have these physical trainings, which are usually costful. Taking an example of the surgery, which has those bodies or cadavers. but how can we make that more interesting and but also very affordable? And for that context, now that is when we started with the first product, which started within a hackathon. That is quite crazy. So it's a hackathon. We come and sit down with my friends. Okay, what should we design with respect to virtual reality? And we came up with a surgery simulation. So that's basically it.
Amazing. Yeah. And so you have a few, how many co-founders are under Seed?
Five.
Five co-founder. Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. And so you're building like augmented reality and virtual reality. And when I met you the first time and we had a conversation, uh
Mhm.
you might hear some birds in the background. Yeah, we have a few birds in here. You you told me about this how you actually implement some of these technologies, right? And it's actually really impactful. You told me about how it applies to some, the healthcare industry, potentially how they can actually leverage it to change people's lives, and when it comes to educating them how to perform certain surgeries or like medical procedures. Is that something that you could tell me more about?
Yes, yes, yes. So the key thing of people who, let's say, who have played games with virtual reality headsets, you find that relation to the physical environment, and you can interact with things. Let's say it's virtual reality or mixed reality or it's an extended reality. And now the key question that we posed is that we have been doing this in games, right? How can we translate this into something that is actually needed within the community here in Tanzania? And we did some research to understand how people do training on surgeries. And the first key thing that we found is that students are usually scared. Let's say you're dealing with a cadaver. So a cadaver is like a dead body, and now you have to do like surgery. So for students, for the first time, it's quite scary. Sometimes these students they throw up, they say they vomit, or sometimes they faint. Those kind of experiences. And now, how do we make this more engaging, interesting, and people don't like feel scared? That is one part. But the fact that people using cadavers or dolls is quite expensive, and let's say a batch of students, there are 300, not all of them can use the same cadaver. It's quite expensive. So how do we tackle these problems? And that is when we came up with surgery simulation, and basically on the C-section, as we found it was a very, very critical surgery whereby you have a mother, you have a child, and when you do a mistake, you can either lose one or both lives. So, which is we thought that that would be a very sensitive area that we can start with.
Yeah, and I found that super fascinating because of, you're actually thinking about a problem set that exists today, whether which is in the industry of like healthcare or the medical system. The fact that, for example, the students are having, really negative experiences of like, actually proceeding to like cut a body parts, right? It's not really my field, and so I'm trying to speak with words that are, and the fact that it's so scary and like daunting and also intimidating as well. How you want to find a solution for that is, what if you actually start in an environment that might feel a bit more comfortable, and so maybe over time you can actually acclimate to that environment and be able to comfortably perform that surgery on a real body. And then it's also saving the industry money because they won't need 100, like 100 bodies to actually perform those surgeries if they're
Mhm.
helping those students train on a tool that's technology based, because it's not a it's not a tool that's going to require let's say multiple parts, meaning like to be duplicated or something like that. It can be reused over and over again. And but then when it comes to the C-section, I found that really interesting too, because then how you move from those really more difficult surgeries to the ones that are like more repeated, right? Because Tanzania is a country with a lot of pregnancies and delivery.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and so it makes it that it's a really it's a good business model to focus on a type of surgery that is recurring, that comes back over and over again, and that and kind of enable the students to be trained on it on a use case that potentially might be considered simpler than a surgery on a a more complex types of surgery. And so I love how you team of co-founder decided to move from that idea of gaming and entertainment to solving a problem that you consider is concrete and like, actually affects people's life day to day in a medical system. And then after that, deciding on a use case that is appropriate right now. And so, yeah, it's really fascinating, and I'm really excited to see how you guys
Mm.
continue to like apply that skill set to more and more use cases, whether it's in the medical field or not. And I'm curious now to hear about like what's next. Like, what are you working on right now? How do you see the future of Seed?
Okay, so we have one part which is the C-section simulation, which is it will take quite some time because now we are engaging Aga Khan as our collaborator in the terms of having that context of knowledge and knowledge in terms, okay, these are the procedures and this is what is supposed to be done. So being able to capture each and every procedure, but also a chance to get into the theater and experience what is happening there and translate that into the simulation, which is a very key factor. And we are usually very keen in the design experience. And from when the doctor or medical student gets into the theater, starting with washing hands, how should you wash your hands, keeping and also from there, wearing your coat, moving to the theater room, having a conversation with the patient, and doing the first, let's say you're sterilizing your materials, those very, very key details that are very crucial during surgery. And after then, we will have to have a QA, like a quality assurance, with the medical experts, so as they can check and verify that this is the accurate way on performing this. And how can we have a variety? Let's say the child now, the head isn't the way it's supposed to be, then what's supposed to be done? There's some certain critical areas, what should be done, that kind of experience. So that is one part, but also we're exploring other areas around entertainment and entertainment around creating games. So one of the key things is we found like most games that are being created are I would say European based, all the stories are European based. So now we are looking forward to take our own games and that, let's say there are those childish games that we used to play, like Bao or Dako, and translate those into a virtual reality game. So currently we are working with a team to create a game of Bao. So this game, I think people who are not Tanzanians, it's difficult for them to understand. But it's basically like chess. Uh, I wish I could explain it more, but it's difficult. I will explain it in Swahili. But the key thing here is that this game is very popular and it's very strategic, and most people, the old people do play it a lot. But now, how can we create this version of the game and have the youth play and tell the story around the game and the importance of it and all that? So that is the other area that we are looking forward to. But the other area is around marketing. Marketing in the context of having augmented reality, in context of virtual lenses, let's say in Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok, and how can we leverage these lenses to create a stronger relationship with youth and the brand? Because like most youth are present in TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram. So how can we use lenses as a point of connection between youth who are present in these platforms and your brand? So we're also exploring that kind of potential products. And we have made progress. We have some lenses in Instagram, and now we're looking forward to tailor them to a particular brand. So that is it. So far, those are the areas that we've been exploring. And the future is basically you're looking forward to finish the C-section simulation and give it a try. So the trial will be it's like a research that would have to see people who are learning from a VR-based perspective and people who are just doing the physical or the traditional way. What is the difference, and how can we leverage both to create a larger impact? So that is the way forward. And after that research being done and published, then now we can move, okay, this is how this works, and this is the benefit. This is the difference between the normal training and VR aided training, and this is why this product will work or improve the health training sector in Tanzania, basically Africa, and globally. And that is one part. On this other end is basically testing, putting in the market. If the market accepts it, then that is okay. If they give feedback, we iterate until we find, we'll say, product market fit. And yeah, so it's basically business and trying things out until something works.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It sounds very, very busy. That's what I heard. It's a lot of stuff to do, and it's super like fascinating things. Whether it's the Instagram lens, right, for to connect youth to brands. Whether it's a C-section research that you're doing in order to like build a proof of concept and find product market fit. Whether it's the app, the game that you mentioned, Bao. And then before that, we were talking about what's the last thing or the first thing that you mentioned. I believe that was related to health. Anyways, but yeah, there's a lot of things that you talked about that are super fascinating, and also sounds like at this moment you're focusing mostly on designing your use cases as well,
True,
right? Designing
true.
your use cases so that you can present those ones to the market and see which ones resonate, and then build a business model around. Thank you so much, Alex. And I won't keep you too long anymore. I want to ask you, how can people find you if they want to work with you, whether it's like in the healthcare space, in tech, in the gaming industry? How can people find you?
Okay, so basically we have a website and we have a LinkedIn page. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so it's called Seed. Seed. The spelling is SEEDE Group XR. And also people can reach out to my personal profile, which is Alex Mkwizu. When you just say Google that and link or search that in LinkedIn, you will find me. I'm very active. Just shoot me a message and we can start talking from there. So yeah, I think that will be the easiest way to reach me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's continue to chat, and I'll be connected as well so I can continue to follow Seed and what your team does as well. All right.
Sure. Thank you very much for having this conversation. And I'm looking forward to make impact on what you're doing, and most people to get to hear this and share this and interact, so as we can get feedback and
Mm,
see how best we can improve or have people who can partner and collaborate. So
yeah.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Let's see if we can collaborate. That would be really cool.
Yeah, cool, cool. All right.